welcome back to the Synergy Sanctum. My name is Justin. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here at the Synergy Sanctum, we specialize in all things related to Magic the Gathering, with a specific focus on deck building. So I aim to show you very quick deck text that'll show you all of the cards in the deck and how they work together to ultimately achieve the goals of that deck. If you're not already, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate that. And we also have a sister channel now, so head on over to Commander Coliseum and check out their content as well. And for today's deck tech, we have Ghyrson Starn, Kelermorph, an EDH Painter's deck tech for you all today. I have loved the activated ability of these creatures that can tap and do a damage to a creature or player, and we finally have a commander that is able to do that. Ghyrson Starn says that whenever another source you control deals exactly 1 damage to a permanent or player, he's going to add 2 damage to that, and in addition, he is protecting himself with Ward 2. So this deck is super fun, red-blue control type of deck here. We do have some combos, though, where we get to keep untapping and doing even more damage, so it gets pretty ridiculous, and I've really enjoyed playing it, and even though the rest of the table doesn't seem to enjoy it, that's fine. So, TCG market value for this Ghyrson build is $319 to $369. We are running 32 lands because our curve is really low to the ground in this deck. So 19 of those being basics and 13 of those being non-basics. So for all the sci-fi fans out there, I feel like Ghyrson Starn is totally a sci-fi driven commander. It has just that whole imagery of shooting, in space and going pew pew, and that's what we're going to do as well. So to start, these are all of the tappers that can do that 1 damage pain to something, and we are running the ones that can do it to any target. So there are a lot of 1 damage pains in Magic, but most of them get specific to like target creature, target player, maybe even to like a planeswalker. These ones don't care. They will do it to any target. So, Prodigal Sorcerer, Prodigal Pyromancer, Zurin Spellcaster, Volshock Sorcerer, Frost Wielder, Rootwater Hunter, Razorfin Hunter, Cunning Spark Mage, Thornwind Fairies, Vivian Stinger, and Goblin Sharpshooter. And then we are running the Soul Niv-Mizzet Parun because we do have the Curiosity draw combos in the deck, and they also work and synergize with the rest of the deck. As you can see, there's tons of pain tappers in the deck that can benefit off of that draw. In addition, we are running additional payoffs with spell slinging painters, the ones that specifically call out non-creature spells. The only one that's doing instant or sorcery, I believe, is the Exalted Flamer of Tzink. So whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with Exalted Flamer, it's doing 1 damage to each opponent, but it gives you recursion at your upkeep, which is good. Karoskin Mage, Keswick Flame Breather, and Firebrand Archer are all doing it off of casts. And then Kindle Spark Duo, Thermo Alchemist, Gelectrode, and Unruly Catapult are still those pain tappers, but they have the added benefit of untapping if you happen to cast a spell. So more 1 damage pains in the deck. Caltrops finally has a place in a commander deck where it's relevant. This artifact says that whenever a creature attacks, it's going to do a damage to it. As you can see from the bulk of our creatures, we will not be attacking, so this discourages attacks because if Ghyrson's out, every attacker is getting a lightning bolt to their face right away. The board wipes we are running is End the Festivities, Tectonic Hazard, and Blazing Volley. They become board wipes if you're able to give Death Touch to Ghyrson, which we are running in the deck. Flame Fuselage turns every permanent into a painter for the turn, and then Balduvian Trading Post and Desert are lands that do the painting to target attacking creature, so it can bolt something as a singular target. And then here are the Pew Pew payoffs. So 1,000 Year Elixir is giving everything haste, and that's why it's mainly in here, but it does have that single untap. We are running a backup plan with Willbreaker, so if Ghyrson has been dealt with a ton, and we have Willbreaker, those little 1 damage things suddenly become mind control, and you get to take those creatures. Because there are going to be a lot of creatures dying, we're doubling up on those benefits as well with Gimli Counter of Kills, Hissing Eigenar, and Spiteful Prankster, as well as Repercussion. And then we've got Intruder Alarm to where if creatures get played, which your opponents will have to play creatures to kind of deal with all of this pew-pewing that's happening, They're going to untap, so you just get to keep that engine going. And then Thornbite Staff, if it's on a creature and creatures keep dying, that creature's going to keep untapping. And then we have the ways of untapping, not necessarily ways to go infinite, but for a blue, you can be untapping these peeners and doing even more damage for Freed for the Real and Pemin's Aura. And then Sigil of Sleep is so broken in this deck, especially if it's on Ghyrson, because if Ghyrson is dealing damage to a player, then you're going to be bouncing back all of those players' creatures. So just an alternate thing here if we don't happen to have the Death Touch. And then we've got a lot of draw on the deck. Lots of draw that's doing a damage too also. So Playful Shove, Needle Drop, and Flick a Coin are all doing another bolt to something before the draw. Archmage Emeritus is in here because he draws off of the cast. We've got the combo pieces with Curiosity and Ophidian Eye. All of the blue cantrips you'd expect for draw. And then because we are in red-blue, we've got Quicksilver Dagger as well, which is an alternate for Curiosity or Ophidian Eye. Expressive Iteration and Electrolyze are each doing specific things as well with additional draws. Electrolyze, if you separate the targets, does Peens as well, so that's another bolt piece there. And then good stuff for the deck. So lots of damage being thrown around here. So we're running Basilisk Collar, Gorgon's Head, and Witch's Clinic to benefit off of that. So we're either going to be gaining a lot of life, or those single damage Peens are going to be Death Touch, and they're going to kill the things they're targeting. We've got High Tide to get us a little more mana, as well as Soul Ring, Propaganda to protect us, Mana Drain to kind of get a counterspell in here. Torbran's doing additional damage. Spiteful Banditry is getting you a a treasure once a turn off of deaths. And then Stormkiln Artist is getting you treasures anytime you're casting an instant or sorcery. And then more good stuff for the deck. So I thought that it would be really hilarious to be turning all creatures into 1/1s and then having backup plans in case Ghyrson was out. So we're running every single one of those that exists. So we're running Mass Diminish, Polymorphous Jest, Flatline, and Asinine Antics all turn your opponent's creatures into 1/1s. So even if Ghyrsson's not there, the Peen Tappers can get it done. We've got the free cast with the Commander out with Jessica's Will and Fierce Guardianship. Unstoppable Plan is getting us an extra untap at our end step. And then we've got the combo here with Isokron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal. Not necessarily to have it go infinite, but to get us that additional untap as well. And then Blasphemous Act for a board wipe in case everything I just described doesn't happen and it all goes south. And with that, our show has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching our video. And if you enjoyed that video, feel free to share it out with any friends who might find value in it as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. We hope to see you again soon. Have a good one.